The Mets try to secure another series victory tomorrow night, and they give the ball to Jacob deGrom. And here's something you don't hear that often. deGrom is looking to bounce back from a rough outing. The Cy Young Award winner was knocked around by the Twins Tuesday, allowing 6 earned runs in 4 innings. And if you expect him to bounce back, as many will, you should have a good pitcher's duel as we take a look at our W. Mason heads up. deGrom last season at SunTrust Park, 2 earned runs with 25 strikeouts in 21 innings. Julio Teheran, his counterpart, has had success against the Mets, and you see he buckles down, though. People have had success against him with runners in scoring position this season. So that'll do it for our coverage tonight here on W. Mason Postgame Live. Sunday night's affair is on ESPN, but Todd and I will be here on SNY to wrap things up after the game, so make sure to tune in Sunday night to W. Mason Postgame Live. But right now, the coverage continues here on SNY. Chris Williamson and Larry Ridley taking over right now with Geico Sports Night. Have a great night, everybody.
To LeVert, that one goes down for Karis LeVert. And Philadelphia wants a timeout as they're booing here at Wells Fargo Center. And this one will come to an end. The Nets come down the turnpike, and they stun the Sixers. And game 1 goes to Brooklyn. How about that one? The Nets beat the Sixers 111-102.
It was nothing but Nets down in Philly. Brooklyn puts the Sixers on notice in the first playoff game of 2019. What is good, NYC and Tri-State area? Welcome to Geico Sports Night, folks. I'm Larry Ridley. More on the Nets game, 1 win and a bit, plus CC Sabathia making his season debut, how the Yankees got back in that win column. But we'll start with the Mets entering Saturday with the best record in the National League. Metropolitans down in the ATL against the Braves. Jason Vargas, second start of the season. That sneezes, which lasted longer. Already trailing 1-0. Issues a third walk of the inning. Forces in a run to make it 2-0, forcing a quick hook from Mickey Callaway. Vargas, just the third of an inning. But during the pitching change, Mickey took issue with the strike zone. Alfonso Marquez, keep an eye on the left-hand side of your screen right there. Marquez sends Mickey to the shower. His third ejection as Mets skipper. Jim Riggleman takes over. Mets down 4-0. They come storming back. In the second, Jeff McNeil, game-tying RBI single off Sean Newcomb. Juan Lagares scores, and we're brand new, tied at 4. But fresh start would turn quickly sour. Corey Oswald on the mound. Tie-breaking single back up the box for Freddie Freeman. Ozzie Albies comes in. Braves back on top 5-4. Next batter, Ronald Acuna Jr. keeps that train moving. An RBI single of his own to left comes in. Josh Donaldson. Braves would hang another 4 spot on the Mets, and now you get the idea. Mets fall 11-7. Mickey sharing his thoughts on his first ejection of the season.
Asked him where some of those pitches were, and he told me where he thought they were, and I said, they look pretty good from the side. And he said, are you arguing balls and strikes? I said, no. I said, they look pretty good from the side, and he tossed me out. I thought it was a bit of a quick hook, but he has to do what he has to do, and I have to go do what I have to do.
Time for Baseball Night in New York. I'm Chris Williamson, joined by Anthony McCarron and John Descripsky. And guys, Jason Vargas, in his third performance, struggled mightily. Obviously, there's a short leash there for Mickey Callaway. What should the Mets do with Vargas, Anthony?
Well, I mean, it's a mystery right now because they don't need a 5th starter until April 23rd, so they've got some time to think about what they need to do. But they really need to come up with some more options here, and they don't seem to have them. Corey Oswalt would have been a nice option for them, but he obviously didn't perform very well on Saturday. So, they don't have much in the minors either. Their best pitching prospect was part of what they traded away, Justin Dunn, to Seattle in the Robinson Cano Edwin Diaz trade, guys. So they are very thin in rotation depth right now, which is why I can't imagine that Vargas doesn't get another start unless another option presents itself.
Well, I think that's what it boils down to with the April schedule being the way that it is. The Mets are going to have the luxury and the option of skipping Jason Vargas. And let's be honest, after what we saw in this ball game against the Atlanta Braves, I'd be wanting to skip Jason Vargas too, because that was non-competitive. When you're getting knocked out of the game that quick and you're into your bullpen that early in the game, it makes things that much more difficult for the manager, for the bullpen, everybody involved. The Mets should be very thankful that deGrom is going, because now you actually have a starter who, dare I say, can go deep in the game. But guys, you look at Vargas on a playoff team, you can't really entertain the idea of the Mets being a playoff team until they have a far better option as far as a 5th starter.
No, Vargas is just so disappointing, and you know he's trying hard, but he just doesn't have it.
Can't get anybody out.
No, he can't get anybody out, as Mickey Callaway said. And you mentioned Corey Oswalt. What's your level of disappointment in him? I know he was brought up from the AAA Syracuse in April 10th, but you got to do better than that.
Yeah, well, this was his big chance, too, Chris. I mean, if he has a nice showing tonight, then he is a guy that they can have confidence in putting in the rotation if they decide to take Vargas out. But it took him 90 pitches to get 11 outs, and there was a whole lot of action on the bases in between. So this is not where the Mets need their quote-unquote sixth starter to be right now. So it's really in flux for them. I mean, you see Dallas Keuchel's name is out there. I mean, he's constantly on Met fans' minds, too, about a possible acquisition. We know the Mets have checked in there, but, maybe that's something that adds a little more urgency for them going forward.
And, fellas, let's be honest. With Vargas in the rotation, with Oswalt not doing the job, you're going to hear Dallas Keuchel's name a whole lot more. I'm sick and tired of talking about it. I'm sure you guys are sick and tired of mentioning the name Dallas Keuchel over and over again. But guess what? It will be in the news. It will be on the horizon because you have a fifth starter who can't get anybody out. You don't have the options down in AAA. And with the way the Mets are swinging the bats, I mean, you want to be optimistic, as you should be, with Pete Alonso, with Jeff McNeil, with Michael Conforto. Mets are doing their job offensively. You feel pretty good about the four starters in place. Starter number 5, though, no good.
Okay, so with the struggles that Vargas is having, Oswalt is having, what's the urgency level for the Mets to pursue Keuchel? Is it even more than it was before?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, they need another starter in that rotation. And the good news for them, Chris, is that, to Anthony's point, we just came on a few minutes ago, you're in April. So you have off days mixed in. You want DeGrom going every 5th day. You don't want to give him extra rest. You don't want to give Syndergaard extra rest. And you want to get Wheeler into a rhythm, get him back to where he was last year. So you could put this off for a couple weeks, but there will come a point in the year where it's not April, and you don't have all these off days mixed in, and you're going to need 5 starters. It doesn't necessarily have to be 5 aces, but your 5th starter has to go out and give you a competitive chance to go out and win ball games and give that offense a chance. Vargas didn't do that on Saturday.
Yeah, and every performance by a 5th starter like the one Jason Vargas delivered on Saturday has got to make the front office more and more antsy going forward. It's good for Dallas Keuchel and his agent, maybe, but this has got to be something that the Mets are concerned about right now. And with a guy like that, a former Cy Young Award winner sitting out, he's not what he used to be, and I know people fret over his possible injury history, but this may be something that the Mets need to look even more seriously into.
Keuchel is much better than Vargas now. Vargas has an ERA of over 14 this year. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Ugly. So many words to describe it. All right, Anthony, JJ, we'll see you in a bit. Now back to Larry Ridley.
All right, thanks, Chris. Coming up next, the old man on the Yankees staff making his debut Saturday afternoon. How a nervous CC Sabathia was able to provide a lift to those Bombers. Plus, in the association, the Nets go on the road and take Game 1 against those favored Sixers. How Brooklyn snatched home court in Philly. And also, we'll talk a little bit about a cell phone. You're watching Geico Sports Night here on SNY.
Geico Sports Night is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
Whose dog is this?
It's my special friend Antonio. His luxurious fur calms my nerves when I'm worried about moving into our new apartment.
Why don't we just ask Geico for help with renter's insurance?
I didn't know Geico helps with renter's insurance.
Yeah, and we could save a bunch too.
Antonio, fetch a computer. Antonio. I'll get it.
Get to know Geico and see how much you could save on renter's insurance.
Sleep better with a new mattress from PC Richard & Son. Our mattress experts will help you find the perfect mattress. Quality brands made in the USA. And when you want it, need it, just gotta have it, we'll get it there the next day. And you can rest assured with our 90-night sleep guarantee. It's time for a new mattress. Sleep better with PC Richard & Son, the official appliance, electronics, and mattress retailer of the New York Mets.
Old Dominion puts together a winning performance with precision, a #1 ranking in claims prevention, and by going the distance to become #1 in customer satisfaction. Old Dominion, official freight carrier of Major League Baseball.
There There's a place where the air is sweet, skies are blue like you've never seen.
Our mission is to make offshore wind one of the principal new sources of energy. Not every bank is willing to get involved in a first-of-its-kind project. Cities saw the promise of clean energy. We're polluting the air less. Businesses and homes can rely on a steady source of power. This will be the first of many offshore wind farms in the U.S.
Yeah, it's the bright light that keeps me going. We'll find it anyway the wind is blowing. Wind is blowing.
K&G is your dress-up headquarters for Easter. Select suits are buy one, get two free. Plus, buy 2 suit separate jackets, get 2 pants or vests free. And Van Heusen dress shirts are 2 for just $35. Save big this Easter with K&G.
Yankees hosting the White Sox, looking to end their 4-game losing streak. CC Sabathia, first start of the season, and he was fantastic. Top 1, strikes out Tim Anderson there swinging. Then top of the 2nd, he gets Yonder Alonso chasing there, twirling. Top of the 5th, CC gets Wellington Castillo on the check swing. That would end his day after 62 pitches. Sabathia only allowing just 1 hit, punches out 3. Scoreless, bottom 7, Luke Voigt pitch hitting. Bases loaded, and a little bloop there. Paper cuts stay hurt. Single over 2nd. Gleyber Torres scores. Yankees up 1-0. 2-0 now. Tyler Wade catches the Sox off guard. Safety squeeze down at third base line. Clint Frazier scores. 3-0 Pinstripers. Same score. Bottom of the 8th now. Aaron Judge at the plate, and he's on the penthouse floor. Call your way up, but barely gets out. 4th long ball of the season, actually the shortest of his career, just 335 feet, but it counts nonetheless. Yankees winning 4-0 the final. Sweeney Murdy has more from the Boogie Down Bronx.
The season doesn't turn around in one day, not the way this team has been hit by injuries. But when you get someone back from injury, it's a cause for celebration. And when that someone is CC Sabathia, and he pitches like this, everyone is happy.
Start of his final season, first start of the year, to come out and really just have the just emotional command as well, to just really lock in and continue to execute pitches was a lot of fun to watch him be so efficient in his first game.
Felt good just to be back out there, be with the guys, and, you know, it's good to get a win today.
Total team effort, too, as the Yankees scraped together their winning rally in the 7th, capped by the smallest of small ball tactics, the safety squeeze by Tyler Wade.
Yeah, you just got to get it down, and got to get it down before you go. Frazier's fast, so I didn't have to be perfect, so I got a good pitch to do it on.
One game by itself changes very little, but someone had to get the Yankees off the hook after a 4-game losing streak. Now, if Masahiro Tanaka does his normal thing on Sunday, then he sets things up for James Paxton and Jay Happ to keep the ball rolling when the Red Sox come to town Tuesday and Wednesday. At Yankee Stadium, I'm Sweeney Murdy, SNY.
All right, thank you, Sweeney. Here's the Yankees' upcoming schedule presented by Geico. Red Sox come to town on Tuesday. It's a short little 2-game series. Then a 4-game series at the stadium against the Royals before the Bombers hit the road to play at the Angels and at the Giants. LA, as you can see, the only team there with a winning record. Here's our Chris Williamson, fresh off the injured list. Be careful there, boss.
Yeah, Larry, I think I got hit with the Yankees injury bug. I had to pick up these crutches from their clubhouse. But thankfully, Anthony, one guy who's off the injured reserve, or injured list, I should say, CC Sabathia, he pitched phenomenally on Saturday. 5 scoreless innings. What impressed you the most about his start?
Well, look, I mean, this guy is a veteran, and he has pitched this way throughout his whole career, but he's now doing it with the different stuff, because he used to have the blow-away fastball and the atomic slider, and now it's more finesse. He's a master of weak contact that we've seen throughout his recent success the last couple of years, and that's what he did again today. And you might say, like, look, 5 innings, you know, it's okay, whatever. It's not a lot of depth, but that's fine. This is exactly what the Yankees needed today, I thought, because their starting pitching hasn't been great, obviously. It's the biggest concern about this team that we have going. So to get some stabilization from CeCe today, 62 pitches, but I think it spoke loudly about how the kind of presence he is in the clubhouse. I mean, you saw the joking around afterward and with the clubhouse interviews, Jay Happ asking questions, ha-ha, using a Red Bull can as a microphone. Very funny stuff, but I think it speaks to the way they feel about CeCe. And to get a little bit of a boost from him, from a guy that well-respected, is more than just plain fun narrative. I think it had a little resonance for the Yankees inside the clubhouse.
Now, going off of that, how important is it for CeCe to have a performance like that, given the fact that they were just on a 4-game losing streak and their pitchers were looking pretty atrocious?
Yeah, he's a stopper, and over the past few years, I think since 2017, he's 14-1 after a Yankee loss, which is pretty amazing stuff. I know that analytics sometimes boils the game down into a certain set of numbers and formulas and all that sort of stuff, but I think there's a little heartbeat in there too, and I think that's what we saw from CeCe today. And the team, I thought, really responded to him because I think 4 games in a row that they lost, they haven't played well this year. They're not smashing the ball the way they used to, and they're obviously really hurting with the injured list stuff. So that's why I thought that this was particularly good for him.
Now, on the offensive side, they didn't really do much until late in the 7th inning. Playing small ball, Luke Voigt had some insurance going up there, as well as Wade. Is this the formula for them to win, playing small ball?
Well, that's a great question, Chris, because we are used to talking about the Bronx Bombers here, and they set the home run record last year, and we think that or at least they think they're going to break it again this year. This was a good inning for the Yankees. They took advantage of a break when the White Sox could not turn a double play. They put some hits together. Luke Voigt, broken bat, okay. That happens, you'll take it. And then Tyler Wade gets the bunt down. I like the call there by Aaron Boone, the safety squeeze, because he knows that all the thumpers are healing right now, or most of the thumpers are healing. So maybe manufacture a run a different way. It's not such a bad look.
All right, so the Yankees get the win. Not what we're used to seeing, but for right now, Yankees fans will definitely take that. Anthony McCarron, thanks so much for stopping by. Larry, back to you.
Bye. Got you, Chris. Next here on this fine program, Brooklyn. Where Brooklyn at? The early starter of these NBA playoffs, picking out the Sixers in Philly, how the Nets left Sixers fans booing their team. Moving color pictures next here on SNY.
Get ready. There's a new tradition for golf's most historic major, and it's tastier than pimento cheese on white bread. Now, you can legally bet on the action. Bet on your favorite golfers. And even bet live. Golf's biggest weekend just got more game-changing than adding bacon to those cheese sandwiches. Yeah, that guy knows. Get a risk-free bet up to $500 from the #1 mobile sportsbook in Jersey. DraftKings, the game inside the game.
It's time to turn heads in a Toyota. Turn up your tunes in the Corolla hatchback with Apple CarPlay compatibility. Turn up your tech in Corolla with pre-collision system standard. Turn up your fun in the Camry with Alexa connectivity. This spring, turn up the heat in a Toyota. Lease Camry for $189 a month or get $1,250 lease bonus cash on Corolla. Plus, recent college grads get a $500 rebate. Find yours at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, Tony.
Hi, Glove.
You like baseball?
Yeah, of course.
Great. Scan this number sticker with the New York Lottery's Collect and Win app. Attaboy. You're entered to win up to $5,000 in StubHub gift cards for events like this. Now raise your hand, Chief. Enter your Win 4 and numbers tickets with the Collect and Win app from the New York Lottery.
NBA playoffs, Nets at Sixers, Game 1. Brooklyn making its first playoff appearance since the 2014-15 season. Joel Embiid playing, even though he was listed as doubtful with a knee injury. Second quarter, Nets already up 14. D'Angelo Russell, you know he'll triple try you. Sixers fans, well, they weren't expecting this. Late second quarter, Nets still up big. Karis LeVert drives, and look at him punch it home. Brooklyn up by 15. 3 seconds to go in the first half. Jimmy Butler knocks down the three at the buzzer. A little life there for Philly going into the locker room. Third quarter, Sixers within 6. Butler, crazy jump shot, got it to go. Finishes with 36. Later in the third, Nets up 5. Russell responds. Nifty little shot of his own, gets the bounce and the foul. And Brooklyn continues to roll in the fourth. LeVert all alone up top. Give me on 3 of these. Put the Nets up 14. The bench fired up. LeVert, 23. Over 6 minutes to go. Russell, the fake. Gets the tough jumper there to fall. Russell leads the Nets with 26 points. And then Embiid got everyone talking when he was seen looking at a cell phone with Amir Johnson. Apparently got a message about his 6th daughter. Nets take Game 1. 111-102,
The
Janae Coakley.
6th-seeded Brooklyn Nets came into Wells Fargo Center and made a statement. They led by as many as 17 points to win their first playoff game in 4 years. They were led by their bench, who scored 59 points.
It was big, especially because, we got the win. I've said all along, I wasn't really too worried about my offense. I knew it would come at any point. And, my teammates have been confident in me every step of the way, telling me to keep going. And that's all you can ask for.
Guys were just ready, locked in, focused, and, obviously, it was the first time for a lot of the guys. But this is one of the, toughest environments in the league, and, they definitely, did a hell of a job tonight.
We weren't rattled. You're afraid, with this crowd and the team they have that they're going to knock you out of the box quick. I thought that we could, we kind of took a couple punches from them, took a couple of runs, and still kept our composure. That's big progress for us.
It's a lot of our first times being here. So that first one's always going to be, something you remember and enjoy. But it's a long series, a long playoffs. We can't get too high. We got to have a so what, what's next mentality.
The Nets will stay in Philadelphia to prepare for Game 2 Monday night, right back here at Wells Fargo Center. With the Nets, Janae Coakley, SNY.
Thanks, Janae. Time to talk some hoops now with JJ. And the Nets steal Game 1. So what type of statement do you think they made going into Philly's house and winning the way they did, JJ?
Well, Chris, they made quite the statement because this is a team that was heavily underdog going into the first round of this postseason series against a Philly team that has elite-level talent. We're talking about Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid. And to come out and to get the sort of effort that they got, Ed Davis giving you a big effort off the bench, Karis LeVert coming off the bench and looking like the Karis LeVert we saw before the injury, and then just hitting 3 after 3 after 3. Butler's going crazy. You're worried that Philly's going to regain control of this game, and the Nets just had an answer for the Philadelphia 76ers every time down the floor. So I think this is going to be a lengthy series. What the Nets showed you here in Game 1, they are not going to be a pushover in this best-of-7 matchup.
Okay, moving ahead to Game 2, what do they need to prove in Game 2 to make sure the Sixers, don't even the series at 1 apiece?
Well, listen,
fired up.
You know this, Chris. When you're playing an NBA postseason series and you lose for the first time at home, you're going to be a wounded animal. That's just all there is to it. You are going to get a kitchen sink type game from the Philadelphia 76ers. J.J. Redick is going to be a lot better. Ben Simmons, even though I couldn't stand his comments after the game about the booing, you're playing in Philadelphia, Ben. You're going to have to deal with some adversity. You're going to have to deal with some catcalls. So I hated that answer. It drove me nuts. But Philadelphia is going to play much better. If the Nets make this a game, if this is a game with 3 minutes to play, I think it's a troubling sign for Philadelphia. Can the Nets get the same sort of bench production? Can they shoot the ball as well as they did? They'll need to if they want to win Game 2.
That's going to be very huge if they can shoot the ball well. Now, obviously, one of the big talking points was Joel Embiid and Amir Johnson looking at the cell phone. And I know Larry mentioned that, Amir was looking, his daughter was sick. That's what he was looking at on his phone. What are your thoughts on that? Because it really didn't look like a good look.
Listen, you feel for Amir Johnson if something's going on with his family, but at the end of the day, you can't have a cell phone on the bench. I mean, that's got to be rule number one. If you're on an NBA locker room, I mean, that's got to be the first thing you do if you're a head coach. I feel like high school coaches, college coaches, Little League coaches, you don't want your players bringing their cell phones. They're on Instagram, they're on Snapchat, they're checking text messages. That's an absolute no-no. And for Joel Embiid, and you're waiting to hear, is he going to play? Is he going to sit? What's going on? For him to be looking at a phone regardless, considering what was going on in that game, Chris, if I were a Sixers fan, it would not sit well with me.
And the Sixers coach, he said Amir's actions were inexcusable.
Oh, he's right about that.
Makes absolutely sense. Now, if you're the Sixers, with the way Embiid played today, he looks very out of shape. What do? Do you sit him for the series or you keep him in?
Well, I can't sit him for the series. He's too good a player. But what I would do is I'd limit his minutes. Maybe I bring him off the bench. Maybe I try to utilize a different look. Listen, we know Joel Embiid is one of the premier big men in the league. So the idea of him not playing in this series is, to me, a bit much. But maybe you bring him off the bench in game two. Ease his minutes. Let him get comfortable that way.
All right, quickly, with Embiid's uncertainty, do the Nets have a window to take this series?
I think we'll have a much better idea come game two. At the end of the day, I'm still picking Philadelphia. Talent wins in the NBA. It was an impressive game one for the Nets, but we see this a lot in the NBA postseason. It is a best-of-7 series. I still think talent will rule, and the Nets will come up and fall a little bit short. But, Chris, they make this a series. You know what? Game 6, Game 7, the folks in the city of brotherly love will be sweating. They should be sweating a first-round series against the Nets. Tells you how much progress this organization has made.
No, it's been amazing what they've been able to do after that horrific trade with Boston. JJ, thanks so much for stopping by. Larry, back to you.
All right, thank you, Chris. If you were watching the Mets-Braves game Saturday night, you heard Ron Darling announce he's taking a temporary medical leave. Now, over the past few months, tests revealing Darling has a mass on his chest, and he will have a medical procedure this coming week. And if all goes well, he could be back next month. The Wilpons issuing a statement which reads, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers continuously remain with Ron for a full recovery, and we look forward to seeing him back in the broadcast booth soon. We wish Ron a speedy recovery." We're pulling for you, buddy.
What if I wielded the power of the Infinity Gauntlet? I could bend reality to my will with a snap of my fingers.
I just saved money with Geico.
I saved hundreds of dollars.
Nice.
That is a lot of money. The power is exhilarating. I just got something in my throat. Yeah.
Marvel Studios' Avengers Endgame in theaters April 26th.
Having kids means having stuff. My Keystone Stairway bunk. Storage inside the stairs, behind the stairs, even under the bed. In gray, espresso, or white. Only $7.77 and only at Bob's Discount Furniture.
Spring is on, so it's time to get started. But first things first, call True Green for a healthy lawn, guaranteed. Millions of homeowners like you trust us to give them a lawn they can live on. Start saving today. Get 50% off your first lawn application.
The unknown beyond the horizon. That was once our frontier. But today, a new frontier has risen. And this is the vehicle crafted to conquer it. Introducing the first of its kind Lexus UX and UX-F Sport. Also available in hybrid all-wheel drive.
Lease the 2019 UX 200 for $329 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Our son Arjun was born with cystic fibrosis. CF is a genetic disease that shortens lives. When the foundation was founded in 1955, children with CF rarely lived long enough to attend kindergarten. Today, thanks to the foundation's groundbreaking research, advocacy and care, some people with CF are attending college, getting married, and starting families. We've made amazing progress, but until a cure is found for all people with CF, we will not stop. Help us add tomorrows. Visit cff.org today.
Geico Sports Night is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote.
More playoff basketball. Game 1 between the Magic and Raptors in the T-Dot.